Hey, I'm Ethan.
Hey, I'm Mike.
I watched the first half of Piranha.
I watched the second half of Piranha.
And this is the other half.
Summer
Screaming! Dude,
Yeah,
when I was a kid,
when you were a
I
kid.
was fucking scared of piranhas.
Me
dude.
too.
It was like there's like tornadoes and piranhas, like the two things I was scared of.
Piranhas and ants, because those things will skeletonize
Ants?
you.
I have no problem with ants. I was like, ants are cool.
When I was a kid,
I fed those
terrified.
motherfuckers to ant lions. They were great.
You're so cool.
I love. Yeah, I was a cool kid, bro. I was sick. I was burning with magnifying glasses.
You and all your friends must have been so impressed.
Yeah, I understand that though. They do skeletonize you pretty quick, and the fact that they work so quickly, and looking at a horde of ants like covering a body is very scary.
Exactly.
And disturbing.
And so yeah, seeing ants and piranhas, just the concept of being eaten alive into a skeleton form, and in the cartoons and movies, it's like in like the Mummy, it's like you're just screaming as they rip you apart.
Yeah.
So yeah, piranhas terrified me. I don't know why. I've never seen them.
No, it's same thing with quicksand. You're like when you're a kid, you expect to see piranhas more in your daily life.
Yeah.
But it's like no, you really don't. You never.
And the other thing, I don't think piranhas work this way.
No, because these are special piranhas.
Yeah.
These
that's
piranhas, like even the movie was like, all right, listen. Obviously, you can't have piranhas. Where are they? They're not in. Where are they located?
Maine?
Is it Maine? Yeah, I think it's Maine. Or is that the other movie?
No, that's the other movie. Oops. Spoilers.
Well, no, we got them mixed up.
Yeah.
But it feels like it's either that or like Colorado
New England
or something. Oh my
something.
god, I felt like they mentioned it a couple times.
Not my half.
But it's a pretty like I don't know.
A piranha would not exist there.
A piranha would not exist here. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, is Piranha? Remember Piranha 3D? Did you ever see
That was what was on the list of movies for us to watch, and we wound up not doing that one. Instead, we did this one.
I can't remember why Piranha 3D was like such a thing back in 2010. It was like a weird remake, I think.
It was a
of this
remake
kind
of this. It was 3D, and I think it just had like a bunch of ladies in bikinis, and so people were like lining up to see that
That's
movie.
kind of wild because I felt like that's what I expected this to be, but it really was not.
It is not.
Not at all.
No,
not at all. It's actually kind of like it's we watched The Final Girls earlier for this, and this is like the type of movie that's kind of making fun of, but it's a little bit smarter than I feel like that movie that they're making fun of is.
So there's a lot of interesting things about like the making of this movie. For instance, did you see who the director was?
Joe Dante.
Yes, this was one of his first big movies.
That's wild.
He got the producer was Roger Corman, who sadly passed away recently.
Mm-hmm.
And this is very obviously a ripoff of Jaws.
Oh, 100%. They definitely were like, this is what we want to do. We want to make a Jaws, but we want to make it kind of kitschy.
Kitschy, sillier, but it's basically the same thing. Apparently Universal was ready and raring to sue the pants off of them because it was so obviously a correlation, like so obviously a remake. A ripoff, but then Spielberg saw it. Spielberg saw this movie and was like, "No, I don't want to do anything to these guys. This is the best Jaws ripoff I've ever seen." And wound up working with Joe Dante, producing.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's how Joe Dante got attached to movies like Gremlins and stuff.
Interesting.
Just because of this shitty low budget piranha movie.
So I think it's somewhere in California is where it takes place.
That makes sense because like the beach is like a big thing. But it looks so dreary.
Yeah, it's definitely like the high desert is where they're kind of at, but I think just the way the coloring looks, it's all
it's very like I don't know what kind of like version we saw of this movie. It's clearly high quality, but it's very like muted.
Yeah, the colors are not popping as much. They didn't put that like cool California sheen. It's like dirty desert kind of California.
Looks like sort of like It's
I was thinking it was Colorado style.
That's what it felt like, but it wouldn't make sense because there was like a massive like beach scene in this movie.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I didn't realize it was California because there's water.
Yeah,
like we live in a desert, so I imagine there's not gonna be big water.
It isn't. I guess it's like I say beach, but really it isn't because the movie takes place mostly around lakes and rivers.
Yeah, lakes and stuff.
Yeah,
which we do have those, but it's weird that.
When you see it in movies, you always assume Colorado.
Exactly.
Or
it's just
Michigan.
not something that's ever portrayed a lot in California. It's always
exactly.
like, check out the beach, bro. That's it,
But I guess that's the big concern is that the piranhas will eventually follow the rivers to the ocean and then get out.
That's so weird. I mean, I guess, okay. So they're genetically modified.
Of course. By Dr. Hirsch.
What is his name? He has a Dr. Robert Hoke.
Hoke.
Yeah, he's a scientist who basically did like worked with the military and like made these things crazy. But so they're modified. So I'm like, that's why they can survive in the Colorado or the not Colorado.
California.
The California rivers, which are colder, right? Like They're warm, but they're not as warm as like a tropical
also different
area.
kinds of water.
That's the thing, is it's like it's supposed to be salt water, I believe, is what they thrive in. So I guess that's why they're kind of scared that if they go to the beach, they'll be like, cool. But maybe they're conditioned to like this fresh water now. I don't know.
I think so. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of there's like a lot of conversation about like, well, they were genetically modified to exist in this kind of water. That's why they're here. It's a lot of just sort of like, don't fucking worry about it. Like they're piranhas. They're deadly. Watch out for them.
Yeah, and it's like I know piranhas obviously can like chew something and eat stuff really quickly, but I think these are obviously, because they're GMO'd, they can just go crazy. They can turn anything.
Mm-hmm.
You stick your feet in there,
and then
you get fucking dragged in.
Look like skeleton.
You look like a little skeleton in only like a minute, and you can't get out. You can't pull your legs out for some reason.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because I'm like, I feel like if your legs are in the water and a fish is nibbling on it,
I'd pull it out.
You'd pull it out.
Yeah.
They're still like tiny ass fish.
Yeah, you just pull them out and they'd be attached to your leg meat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're attached to your leg meat. So I guess I could start on this.
Your little toesies.
I love the way this movie starts, because it's the most like cheesy 70s style start ever. Can you tell me what you think it is? Like, just imagine, how do you start a horror movie in the late 70s, early 80s?
Oh gosh, well, it's got to be a title sequence with like music, very colorful imagery.
Okay.
I mean, I assume underwater is my first instinct, but it sounds like that's not what they're doing. Animated titles, or like, if not animated, like iconography in the background.
Sure.
List of all the actors and producers, very long sets of music. That's what I imagine.
What's the event though? I guess like the first scene, because like they always do the scene and then they do title card.
Oh, the scene. Oh, a sex scene.
No, close.
Oh,
not quite.
What is it?
All right, so it pans. The camera pans from this fence and it pans down. It says military test site, no trespassing.
Oh, is this like the beginning of the Jurassic Park, where
it
like,
pretty much feels like that?
Okay.
But it's too.
See, this is the thing. This stole from Jaws, and then
Spielberg came back and was like, Piranha's got some stuff going for it.
I think I can use this in my movie.
Yeah, he uses it in the Fablemans.
Yeah, exactly.
Comes down. No trespassing over my mom.
There's this scene. Take that, Seth Rogen.
Yeah. Fucking Seth Rogen.
I'm Seth Rogen. Right?
You leave Paul Dano.
Yeah,
alone.
You leave Paul Dano, my cuck boy, alone.
My cuck dad.
Yeah, you're gonna drive him crazy, and he's gonna turn into the Riddler.
So it says no trespassing. Two hikers wander in, of course. It's a man and a woman.
Of course, and they're gonna fuck.
Wow. And they're like, the dude's just like, oh man, we're getting tired. We should stop make camp pretty soon.
It sure is boring around here.
It's very much that. Yeah. The guy goes and looks at the things like, whoa, what is this? Oh, military test zone. That's cool. We should check it out while we're here. And she's like, I don't know. I don't know if we should do that. And he's like, come on. Breaking a little law, is it good for you? You should do that every so often. And she's like, okay, I guess. So they go in and they look around. And it's dark. And they like see that there's a pool. And they're like, oh, pool. And she touches it to like feel if it's warm. It's like, oh, it's kind of warm. It's not bad. And then an eye opens up, like a big scary eye. And it's like, oh shit. And then she's like, immediately, how she was tepid before and was like, I don't know if I want to go in here. She touched that water. She's going crazy. She's like, let's go in. Take off all your clothes. Let's get washed off. Get that
feelies on my tits.
Can't wait to get my boobs so wet.
Yeah, exactly.
Dripping. Isn't that right, John? I think is. No, it's David. Isn't that right, David?
I don't think David comes into play in my half of the movie, does he?
I mean, not really. No, I don't think so. They're not really big characters in your half.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know why you're so specific about his name.
It comes into play kind of later. But anyway, yeah, she's like, come on, and rinse off that funk in your sleeping bag. And so she then decides to get basically completely naked except for her pants, her underwear.
Pants? What are you, British?
Her British, her fucking...
Pantaloons.
Why can't I look at the panties? Panties.
Her panties.
When I say panties, I don't know.
You cringe.
I cringe. I feel like I'm an adult man.
You feel like a pervert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But you're not a pervert.
I think it's like a trap that they call it that.
You think it's a trap? Panties are traps?
Saying that. I feel like you're just supposed to.
You're going to get arrested immediately.
I'm going to get arrested.
Yeah.
Just saying the word panties.
Oh, you said it 3 times. Well, does he know the podcast?
The panties are here. Whoa, they're going on my head. Ah! Worse than a piranha.
They're going to toss you in the panty wagon.
Oh. The panty pool. So she's going in there, and then.
But she's wearing her
David's
panties,
like,
though.
what if it's some kind of sewage treatment plant? And she's just like, you're an idiot. And then jumps in. And I'm like, you're going in a place that says no trespassing military test zone. And you're like, you're an idiot if you think this is weird. This murky water you can't see the bottom of.
He was the one that was telling her that she needed to like have some fun and break some rules.
Exactly. And then she did too much. And then he's like, I don't know. This is too far for me.
Yeah.
So then he's like, they're swimming, and he's like, oh, something bit me. That's weird. She's like, let's race to the deep end. Whatever.
She doesn't give a shit.
Yeah.
I love it.
So they swim, and then he goes, oh, no, there's something in here. And then a bunch of blood just appears around him, and then he goes underwater.
Oh, no.
And she's like, what? What? You see a full moon. And then Barbara just starts screaming, going, ah! And then she tries crawling out, all bloody, but then she gets dragged back in. And then
the Ghostbusters theme starts.
Basically, but it's the Piranha logo, and it appears, and then it goes under the water and turns the water blood red.
That's a cool effect.
Like,
That's a great effect.
It's cheesy, but it works.
I like it.
But it's funny because someone in the background you can see someone opening the door, like the base. I mean, like, what is this?
I'm watching.
But you don't know who it is.
Who could it be?
Could
be anybody.
Then it cuts to our main character. Her name is...
Oh, she's the main character, is she?
The main character, Maggie.
I never wrote her name down because they never said it in my half.
Really?
She was such a nothing character.
Oh, man. Maggie Maggie McKean. Yeah. Sister of Katie Keene.
Of course. Great reference.
Yeah, great reference. Really timely. Look, Katie Keene's always on my mind, Mike.
I understand. It's a great show.
It's a great show. Died too soon. But yeah, so she's there and she's playing a version of Jaws, the arcade game. Let me tell you a little bit about Shark Jaws. It's actually called Shark Jaws is the name. But this is the first
Shark Jaws.
It was the first movie tie-in that was unofficially tied to a movie. So Atari released this in 1975.
Wait. They're playing the game Jaws in this movie?
Yeah, but also the Jaws game is not licensed to the actual Jaws.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
So, because it was like, they retitled it because they didn't want to like get sued. They called it Shark Jaws, even though in big letters it just says Jaws.
That also very much feels like, fucking sue us, bro. What are you going to do? Yeah, we know that we're ripping off Jaws.
Yeah.
You know?
But it's also like, games are so new then, it's like, what are you going to do? Movies are different. They're a different medium. Then the court's like, what the fuck is a video game?
You made this movie that's clearly a ripoff of Jaws, and you're putting the Jaws video game in your movie. Like, that's why it feels like they're going like,
that's true.
What the fuck are you going to do, bro? Yeah, it's not just one big fish. It's a bunch of fish.
True. There's an old man who's like, hey, you get off there. You'll get a Jeep when you get there. You're a city kid. You could find these kids. She's like, what? And I'm so confused because her whole joke is that like she's really good at finding stuff, but she's also kind of ditzy because she's like, I'm 2/3 bloodhound. I could find anyone. And I was still confused at these guys' people. Yeah.
She's ditzy?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
No.
She doesn't have a character at this point.
Yeah.
That's the thing is like at the beginning she's showed that way, but then near like most of my half she's pretty competent. So I don't know why they put the scene in to be like, she's so quirky and weird and like forgets things because she's like, oh, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, sure, I could find him. Oh wait, where's my ticket? My plane ticket? Oh, I have it here, ma'am. He hands it to her, and I'm just like, why are we doing this? Because she's pretty competent most of the movie of just doing stuff.
Yeah, maybe she's just a little forgetful, I guess. That's
I guess
strange. Yeah,
she's just a young kid. And young kids are weird. They like video games and stuff.
They just don't have worldly experience.
I guess
they're too busy wearing panties.
This is someone in like their 30s, like late 20s, 30s, something like that. Like,
but playing a kid.
But no, I think they're supposed to be like an adult. She's like a private investigator.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about this woman other than she was blonde and she showed her boobs once.
Really?
In the movie. And I
felt like they weren't going to do that.
She has the hots for our main character,
Jack,
and she's weirdly resourceful. Like that was the other thing that was surprised me is like more often than not she's the one getting people out of scrapes. Yeah.
That's why it's weird when they're like we're going to make her seem. Maybe I guess it's like don't judge the book by its cover.
Like for most of my movie I'm like, oh, she's supposed to be like the dumb bimbo blonde, and then all of a sudden she's like super good at like getting out of traps and shit. I'm just like,
maybe they made her kind of quote unquote dumb because then she could show her boobs and it's cool.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. Honestly, that was the weakest part of the movie. Is when they're just like, yeah, let's show her boobs off. I guess that's what everyone's here for.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll tell you all about it when it happens.
Oh boy, please describe it in great detail, but not for me. Not for me, just for the audience.
For the audience, of course. Yeah.
So Jack is here.
Jack is already here.
We already see. No, well, we cut to Jack. He is in like his cabin. He's basically isolated. He's getting stuff from his friend Paul. Paul's coming up here. He's bringing this man 4 things: scotch, gin, bourbon, and tequila.
That is what I'm talking about. This guy is cool as hell.
Dude, this guy's sad.
I know he is.
This guy's sad, Mike. This is what happens to you if you had no ambitions.
Or friends.
Yeah. Or any life goals or stories or just, I don't know.
Or a podcast.
Or any spark of hope, really.
Yeah, that's true. It's funny because this is very much the same thing in like the Meg when you see Jason Statham. He's living in like what is it like Thailand, and he's like drinking beer, like day drinking, and we talked about how like cool that was. But this guy's in the woods.
This is
getting
way sadder.
Drinks delivered to him.
Yeah, this is way sadder
because he's not like, hanging out with people.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like Jason Statham's drinking, but he's like hanging out.
He's got buddies.
He's knowing people. He's talking to people.
He knows the bartender.
Yeah, he's clearly got connections. This guy's just alone, literally getting booze delivered to him and nothing else.
Yeah. Why is he so sad and depressing?
We'll get to that in a bit. But first you gotta learn about Paul. Paul's here. He's like, hey man, I like the river a lot. I really like the river. You know how much I love the river? I love it a lot. It gives me a bath, is what he says.
What does Paul look like? Who's Paul?
He's an old man. You do not see him in your house. Because let me tell you, he loves the river, Mike. He loves the river.
He loves the river.
I can't imagine what happens with the river.
I wonder. I can only imagine that he loves the river so much.
And he's like, I got a dog. I love my dog.
There's 2 things I love the most: my dog and my river.
My dog, my river.
And I hope nothing bad happens to either one of them.
Sometimes I put my dog in the river. I start crying
because it's too much.
I get so emotional. My name is Paul. Paul's like, what do you got up here, Paul? I have my river and I have my dog.
Yeah, what have you got?
He's like, I got gin, bourbon, scotch, and tequila.
Doesn't he have a daughter too?
She's not there at this moment. She's a
little girl.
She's at summer camp. She's not here right now in this scene.
What does he do like 90% of the time when she is here?
I don't fucking know.
Continue to
probably
drink
a lot. I don't know.
What a nothing character.
He's kind of a rough guy.
Yeah, it really is.
So we cut to Maggie. She's driving around. Her Jeep gets like really fucked up because she's driving around.
Because she's a woman driving.
She's a woman, yeah. So
exactly.
she's just like, I put it into first gear and just slammed it as hard as I could because no man taught me how to drive a Jeep. I guess. I don't know. It's steaming hot. She gets out, but somehow she makes it all the way there to the cabin, even though like there's a scene where she literally gets out of the car, opens the hood, and goes, "Wah!" And then suddenly she makes it there to the cabin. She goes to the cabin of Jack. And she says, "Hey, I'm looking for some teenage kids here that went missing. 2 kids, Barbara and David." And he's like, I don't know, no kids around here. You think I fucking stole them? I didn't do that.
Steal them.
You think I stole them? The only person up here is Jack, and he's in the only other camp. He was like, any other places they could be? And he's like, I don't know. He's just being super unhelpful. I'm cutting the scene
drunk.
down. It's breakfast. I don't think he's drunk yet.
I mean...
Oh, you're right. No, he is.
It's breakfast. This guy just got 3 bottles of liquor
He's got to get started. Yeah, finally, he's having the first bottle now.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Which of those 4 bottles is breakfast? Because one is breakfast, one's lunch, one's dinner, one's dessert.
I feel like bourbon's a good breakfast.
Bourbon is breakfast. It starts with the B.
Yeah,
and then you got what was the other ones?
Scotch, gin, and tequila.
So Scotch feels more like a either dessert or dinner.
That's what I'm thinking. Scotch is dessert, tequila for lunch, gin for dinner.
Yes,
Scotch for dessert.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's what we pass out.
And that's
Scotch bottle.
all you live by.
That's all you live by. It was really weird seeing that, but he did have that. But anyway, he mentions, there was like a weird military test site, but that was closed like 5 or 6 years ago. Right. She's like, you're taking me up there. And he's like, no, I'm not. And then cut to him taking her up there.
Of course.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Tale's old as time. So she breaks the lock and they walk in there.
Wow, what a badass.
She's cool.
She's so cool.
It's a great scene where she's walking down the path and he's just got a huge fucking bottle.
Bottle.
It's not a bottle. I guess it's like a thermos, but we all know what's
what's in there.
It's weird how like actors can portray when it's like, that's not water in there.
Apparently, this guy who played this character was like a very like not a famous actor, but an actor that took the craft seriously. So so apparently he wanted to add more backstory, which probably includes why he was like a drunk or whatever. They didn't need to do that, you know. But yeah, I think that's why like he gives such a backstory. It is a lame backstory, but it's something apparently.
Sure, I guess it would be better than nothing.
But that's also probably why, because any old actor could have drank out of a thermos, and you would have just been like, "Oh, he's probably drinking water." But he's such a good actor that he can drink out of the thermos, and you're like, "I know what's in that."
He's probably him with his big giant gate walking around. Whoa!
Yeah.
So
very subtle.
She's yelling for David or Barbara, and he's like, "I used to hike up here with my ex-wife." Character building.
Oh yeah, he has an ex-wife.
There was guard dogs, electrified fence, the whole thing. And it was like, "Whoa, there's a big pool here. We gotta drain it." He's like, "Wouldn't they float to the surface?" She's like, "I don't know. Let's just drain it." There's a big pool.
The pool from earlier.
The pool from earlier, yeah. So then they are like, "All right, well, how are we gonna drain this?" So they go into like a door, and there's like a lab, and there's like a huge obstacle course for like a fish.
Oh,
he's like, it's like for rats, but it's like
underwater.
It's like Wipeout. The military is testing NBC's new hit show, Wipeout.
They even hire scientists to go like, "Whoa, I bet that hurt."
He hit it with 70 G-forces. If he wasn't so cushioned.
Then he landed on his ass.
Hilarious. But then there's the weirdest thing. I don't know if you ever see this. There's this little weird claymation fish dude walking around the lab.
Never see this.
Does he ever come into play again?
Never see a claymation fish dude.
Is when I turned and like, that's when I like lean forward. All right. When I saw,
you were interested in claymation
I was like,
dude.
this movie's okay. It's actually some pretty good pacing. The characters are whatever.
Right.
But then I saw these fucking little weird claymation fish dude just walking around this lab. I don't know why it's there. He looks sick as shit.
What the fuck? I want to see this claymation fish dude.
I will show you this at the end of the podcast.
Oh man, this is
but
all
there's all these weird specimens in jars. Clearly someone was here because they say I think something was warm. It was like a coffee was warm or something like that. But they find like a creepy puppet moray eel that's been like mutated, and it like gives them the creeps, so they leave. Then they find the backpack of one of the people anyway, and Maggie's like, "Oh shit, well they definitely are here, so we gotta start draining the pond." So there's a big lever, and she pulls it. It says "drain pond," and she pulls it, and it starts draining. And immediately this man goes, "What are you doing?" Tries to stop him. They have like a whole fight. They knock him out, and then they go and they look, and the water's all been drained. And we as the audience know shit's about to go down. They fucked up. They should have done this.
Now they've drained all of the piranha.
All the piranhas are going in there.
Oh no.
And then the dude, they're like, "Wow, that's crazy." The dude wakes up and steals their Jeep, but he's so messed up from getting hit in the head, he pretty much rolls it over immediately and then passes out again. They find him and they're like, "Wow, he's indestructible."
He's been testing on himself as well.
Yeah. And then he kind of wakes up. They bring him back and he's like, "Oh, did you guys drain it?" And he was like, "What are you talking about? Did you drain it? Oh, they'll kill us. They'll kill us all. What have we done?"
Oh, no.
And Maggie shows up and is like, "Hey, that guy's crazy, right? He fell back to sleep. We're going to have a little one-on-one, me and you, Jack."
Yeah.
And then she starts off with the banger line. "So, did you start drinking before or after your wife left you?" First off,
just casual small talk, right?
Assuming that his wife left him.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that he didn't leave the wife.
It's a pretty easy conclusion.
I mean, she is a private detective.
She's a private
so she
detective.
would know this sort of thing.
But yeah, intuition. But like already off the bat, and she's like, "What?" He's like, "What? Get out of it. Why are you asking that question?" She's like, "I'm just interested. How long were you married? 10 years. What do you do now?" "I got no job, no money.
I drink.
At some point, I got to get a job."
How does he pay?
My daughter lives with me. I guess he gets like a unemployment stipend or something. I don't know.
From what?
I don't fucking know.
I guess it doesn't matter.
He says the money's gonna run out soon, though.
Okay, but luckily he's spending it on summer camp.
He's spending it on summer camp and booze. You know, two great investments.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's like, "You're so tense." He's like, "I'm not used to people being around." That's him. He's not used to people being around.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to figure out how to move the guy back to home, like to like a hospital, because he's obviously injured. The doctor. We don't know he's a doctor yet. So he's like,
he
"Well,
could be anybody.
Our Jeep's fucked because he crashed it.
Right.
So I have a raft. Let's get on a raft. We'll go down the river.
Let's do it.
It's a basic janky ass raft.
Let's ford the river with the raft.
Like it is like
What
10,
kind? Wait, is it
12,
plastic?
12. No, it's like 12 sticks, 12 long logs tied together with lashings.
Right.
And he's like, not a nail in here. It's all lashings. I did it with me and my daughter, and she's like, did she like it? And he's like, she's too scared to go in the water with it. So we never actually tried it, but it can hold 2 or 3 people, so it should be perfect.
We are about 2 or 3 people.
Exactly. So that'd be perfect. And she's like, where is your daughter anyway? She's at summer camp. Cut to daughter. Susie. Right. She's out here. She's scared to go swim out to the marker at the summer camp.
Right.
And the camp counselor's like, you can't get your water badge. I don't care, she says. There's like just things in the water. And the camp counselor's like, those are just little fish. They're not going to do anything.
Yeah, come on.
They're more interested in like the plants and stuff. They're not going to bite kids' feet. And then this asshole counselor comes by.
He's the guy that runs the camp.
Okay.
He's like bald.
He's bald, got a mustache, I think. Or a beard.
Full on beard, yes.
Yeah, full beard. Okay.
Man, if anybody fucking murders me in front of Ethan,
I'll be like, well, Mike, okay. He's got hair. Curly. Brown or black?
You're gonna identify the guy that got killed and not the person that killed me. They're like, sir, you're identifying the body that we found. We need you to identify the person that killed him. You're just like, I think he has dark hair. He's got like dark eyes.
Sometimes he has a beard. Sometimes he doesn't.
Yes.
Well, you won't care. You're dead. So why do you give a shit?
Because you're right. You're right.
I'm gonna relay to them how good of a friend I was.
So fucking funny. If anybody kills me, I hope you don't have to tell other people how I looked.
I guess I don't know what I was thinking. I have no excuse.
I don't know why you didn't think I meant identifying the person who killed me. It's I want you to identify to other people.
Well, you're acting like it's a need to know basis.
It's a need to know like
you know?
If I got killed by a person, I would hope that you'd be able to identify them.
I guess I didn't assume that you'd see that I killed them for some reason. Or like you didn't see that I watched them kill you.
I think I said, I hope you don't. You're like you don't have to identify the person, right? Is that not what I said?
Well, yeah, that's true. But I did because it's you.
That's true. You identified the person that got killed. Well, it's a lot easier to identify me because I'm not moving around.
Yeah,
I'm not putting on any wigs or anything.
Point at him. Look at him.
Look. Okay, so he's got I think he's got dark hair. I think he's got dark hair.
I don't know. He's got a really distinct laugh. You can't hear it now though.
He was a really great guy. He told funny jokes. It's like great, man.
Well, so sir, what about the guy who killed him? Oh,
I don't know.
He was a
white,
man.
I think. Yeah.
I think
he was.
I don't know.
He was tall, I think.
He had hair. A mustache?
Anyway, so
he's going to say mustache no matter what.
He's got a beard.
Yeah, whatever you say. I didn't see the guy. I don't know.
The guy in the movie.
Oh, the guy in the movie.
The guy that runs the summer camp.
The same guy who killed you, right?
Yeah, he would kill me.
He would kill you.
He's an asshole.
He is a mean guy. He basically comes up to Susie and is like, you just get in the water.
Yeah. He's all about getting Susie in the water.
He says, "Get in the water. People eat fish. Fish don't eat people.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to lose the minnows."
Why is he so gung ho about people getting in the water?
Because there's like a camp, I guess, a rival camp. This is like Camp Rock. They have like a rival camp that I guess they have to beat, and he really cares about beating them, which is like maybe it's just because so much of our like upbringing has been kind of like not as much weird competition like this, like. There was no one bossing you around to like win. They'd have competition, but it'd be like whatever. If you win,
I think we had very different environments growing up because I do remember a lot of competition and competitiveness built into pretty useless events in my life.
Really?
So, yeah.
Okay. Well,
I remember at one moment just going like, why did those adults care that much that I did this thing? Like it didn't matter to them. You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Is this to build character? But I remember I distinctly remember adults going like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. And it's just like, none of this matters. Like, we're all playing fucking make-believe right now, you know? Like,
that's so weird. Yeah, I always was like, maybe I just didn't care. I was like, maybe they were like really mad at me. Oh, maybe that's why I got in trouble a lot.
I was a good little boy. I did what they told me to do. And then it became, I realized years later, I'm like, none of this matters. Who cares about that?
This doesn't fucking matter. You're not going to win what are you going to win? A stupid trophy?
I'm not going to go to college and then they're going to go like, well, did you win that fucking trophy?
Did you swim and beat the minnows at camp?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I don't give a shit. Jack's hanging out with Philip. Jack is the man. Philip is the dog. Jack is hanging out with his feet in the water, getting drunk, throwing meat into the river.
Right.
He's just asking for it at this point. The dog is upset at the water. And he's like, oh, why are you so mad at the water? And then you cut to the camera, and the camera goes and attacks this man's feet. And then there's blood everywhere.
Oh, no.
He goes, oh! The dog's barking. And then the doctor is kind of waking up on the raft. They're taking him downriver.
Mm-hmm.
And Maggie's putting her hand in the water. She's like, don't do that. He's like, what? She says, the water is filled with carnivorous fish. He's like, who put carnivorous fish in there?
You guys did.
You did, you fools.
Yeah.
They're filled with piranhas. She's like, they're tropical fish. There's no way they're gonna live here.
Yeah.
They wouldn't last a minute here. And he's like, they're not just piranhas. And then they roll up and they see Jack's dog barking, and there's blood all over the dock.
Oh, no.
And they look, and his hat is there. And I was like, okay. So in my mind, I'm like, this man get dragged into, like, I assumed he got dragged. Like, it's the only way you could die, right?
Yeah.
You get dragged in the water.
Yeah.
No. What happens is they find his body, and his legs are just chewed off. So they, like, crawl out, and then he just died from blood loss. Because it's just so.
I mean, I guess that
he's
would
in the middle
occur.
of nowhere. Yeah. The dog is like trying to go in the car, like, let's get out of here, but they can't because it's on blocks, which he mentioned earlier in the movie. So there's still no transportation, so they have to take the raft. Great.
Well, at least it can hold up to 2 to 3 people.
Yeah, but they have enough time to bury him. Jack's like, I'm gonna get a shovel. He wouldn't want to be buried in town, so they just bury a body and don't report it.
They never do. They probably forget about it. Honestly.
They probably forgot about it.
Yeah. A lot of other shit has happened since then.
A lot of other stuff has happened.
Yeah.
So we come back to Susie. She doesn't want to get in an inner tube. She really just doesn't want to go in the water at all.
Yeah.
She's talking to a counselor, and the counselor's like, they're throwing darts at the mean counselor, the owner guy. They're throwing darts at like his picture.
Right.
Because
he sucks. Yeah. But then there's 2 cool counselors, 2 lady counselors.
And one of the counselors, she's like, oh, this is, well, okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to like mark up your knee, and you're going to have to act like you're injured so you don't have to play. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. It's very cool of her to be like,
oh, that comes into play later.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So
let's quickly describe these 2 counselors. There's a blonde counselor and a brunette counselor. There you go.
Right. There you go.
There you go. That's all you need.
I thought it was going to be more detailed than that, and I was frozen.
That was way more than you had.
If they both murdered you, or one of them murdered you,
you wouldn't know.
And I was put up in a lineup and I had to pick which one. Kind of fucked.
You're messed up. Yeah, it's like, who knows who did it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all you need to know. There's 2 different counselors, a blonde and a brunette. The brunette, I believe, is more like bookwormy, and the blonde is a bit more like frivolous, but that's pretty much all I got.
That's probably as deep as their characters are written.
I didn't even know their names.
No, I don't think anyone knows their names. Then we cut to some random dude. This part's great because they're like, all right, no one's fucking dying yet. We already killed off like one of the only characters we know. So here's this random dude with his kid, and this random dude is just like, I'm trying to get something out of the fish net. It's kind of hard to get. It's hard to get out of fish. He's like, Dad, you okay? He's like, yeah, I think my hand's I'm kind of a little stuck here though. And then he starts screaming, and then the fucking whole canoe tips over. And there's blood everywhere, and he's like, Dad, and the kid climbs up on the boat, and luckily he's alive. But he just sees his dad get fucking tipped over and eaten.
Whoa.
So that's crazy.
Dog.
So then the doctor's telling them all about the lore of the piranhas while they're riding down the river.
It's a lot of, you need to know a lot about
like, the government, they pay better than private equity right now. You know what they're trying to do? They're trying to raise piranhas called Operation Razor Teeth, baby. All right.
For what?
They're going to destroy the river systems of the northern Vietnamese. All right.
Oh my God.
But then the war ended, so we never ended up using it. But I kept them here.
Why?
What do you mean why?
Why did he keep them?
Well, he liked them. I don't know.
Them all?
That's kind of, he just wanted to work on.
I don't see why you'd want to hold on to them.
Well, they also poisoned the water and tried to kill them all. But some didn't, so he kept them alive.
Okay.
And then they kept breeding.
It's really hard to kill piranhas.
Well, I mean, a couple survived. And so they I assume they breeded with
poison
poison resistance.
The water. You just take them out of the water for like 10 minutes and they're dead.
That's a great point.
Like, you
just drain the pool.
Yeah, just drain the
and
pool.
Better, making sure they can't get out.
Yeah, but literally just pick them up and put them on the ground.
Yeah, and then they die.
And then they die within 10 minutes. You don't have to poison the water, you crazy person.
Yeah, it's not like they're in the river. They're in the pool.
And like, if they do live, it's really easy to kill them. Just step on them. Like, like it's such a stupid way of killing them.
Also, they didn't have to drain the water with like the way they used the little like thing that like drained it. Where they drained out the bottom. They could have used like a vacuum or something. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Just fucking it's so stupid.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Hey man, it's the government at work, bro.
That's
they don't know
right.
what they're doing.
This isn't even the government to blame. This is the stupid fucking scientists that wanted to hold on to these
military.
Damn things.
It's true. Yeah. So he says hundreds, maybe thousands, and they're like, "You did this." He's like, "I didn't do anything. You guys did this." They start blaming each other. He's like, "Talk to your military personnel. I was just following orders." But he's like, "I continued with the experiment. Continued with the experiment. So yeah." So maybe it's my fault. I don't know.
It's definitely his fault.
And then they come up to this kid on the canoe. He's screaming.
My dad's
and
dead.
For some reason, the doctor is like, "I'm exiting this movie. I'm done." He's injured, by the way.
I thought he died.
No, he's on the raft. He's telling you all this stuff.
No, I know, but he doesn't die in the movie?
Well, I told him he exits the movie now.
Oh, I thought you meant he just like left.
Like he puts down his hat.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
He looks at the camera and goes, "I'm done." And he just
I'm done with this. I don't want to be a part of this film anymore. Okay.
He does in a very Harrison Ford way.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Where he sees this kid on the canoe. They're going towards the canoe, by the way.
Right.
They're going there, and the canoe's kind of sinking just a
towards
little
the
bit.
Canoe?
And he's like, I have to save the kid.
No.
And they're like, "Don't go in there. It's full of piranhas." And he's like, "I'm going to do it." And he goes.
So dumb.
And gets to the fucking kid. And he's just about to get there. And he's like, "Hey, kid, I'm going to save you." And then he goes, "Ah!" And the piranhas get to him. And then the raft arrives just at the same time he's just getting eaten.
You fucking idiots.
It's so dumb.
Oh, my God.
So then they pulled the kid over the body. I guess they use kind of his body to kind of like keep the kid safe.
Yeah.
And then they pull the doc's body, and he's got fucking holes all over him because he's been eaten.
Right. I guess they probably 4 of them could not have fit on the raft, right?
Well, no, they can't because they all get on there, and it's fine.
Wait, they bring the body of the doctor?
They bring the body of the doctor on there, and they're like, "We're going to get him to the hospital still."
Hopefully they can pump some life into him.
Yeah. So yeah, he fucking died. He fucking
real quick. Can you describe the doctor? What is the doctor? I mean, I know this is a fool's errand, but can you possibly describe what the doctor looks like?
He kind of looks like Alan Rickman with white hair that is kind of like longer.
Okay,
but not super long.
Does he look attractive at all to anybody?
He's fairly handsome. He's not like crazy handsome, but he's like fair.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. That's all I needed to know because it comes into play later.
Interesting. So, so he's all fucked up. And then they're like, "Damn." And this kid's like, "Oh, man, I can't believe my dad died."
I can't believe my dad died.
And now they start going a little further, and they notice the piranhas are at the bottom. They start, like, chewing on the actual raft, which they never did before.
But it's wooden.
It's wooden, but there's a body on top that's bleeding into the water.
Right.
Which is the doctor.
The doctor, and so they're looking for his blood.
So Jack is like, "All right, we're gonna have to push him over," and the kid's like, "No, don't push him over. He'll be just like my dad." And they fucking just toss his ass over.
Too late, kid.
And they still of course, they go after it, but they still keep eating because there's still blood, right? So they still keep eating the lashings, and the lashings keep falling apart. So they start moving it towards the shore, and they slowly more and more get unraveled, and they eventually do escape just in time. So they run.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't mention this, they started going. I think it was Jack. After Jack died and got his little legs eaten, they're like, "Oh shit, my daughter and the whole summer camp is down the river at the dam. They're gonna empty out the dam every so often."
Wait, their Jack died?
Not Jack. Fuck, what's his name? Paul? I can't remember the. Wait, why did I say Jack?
I don't know. He said Jack.
Okay, I gotta go back to my. No, Jack is Jack. No, that's right, Jack. Jack's the old cranky dude. Paul. Paul's our main character.
Yes.
So I was talking about Jack. He died.
I was so confused.
I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure Jack is not the name of the main guy.
No, it's not. It's Paul.
Who is Jack?
Paul
then?
and Jack, fucking same names.
Who's Jack?
Jack is the guy who got his feet chewed off with his dog. He's the one who brought stuff to Paul. He bought the drinks to Paul.
Got it. Okay, thank you. There are so many people who've seen this movie. He was screaming at you the entire podcast. Well,
You know what?
Okay,
they should be used to it by now.
I probably should have reprimanded you, but to be fair, I did not have my notes up because I knew that Jack was probably not his name.
No, it was Paul. But
it's Paul.
They're both 4-letter man names.
It's true.
So,
like Mike.
Can you blame it? If the guy's name was Mike, it could have been there. I do remember. It's my friend Mike. I don't know any fucking Pauls or Jacks.
You don't know any Pauls or Jacks?
No.
Jack, I don't know. I feel like Jack's fallen out of favor.
I know one Jack. That's it.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I know a Jack. And Jack, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Write in. If you're a Jack, write in.
No, if I know a Jack personally and they are
they're
listening to this,
they're
I'm
waiting
sorry.
for you to be like, I hope he doesn't fucking forget
I'm
my
like,
name.
Fuck, I don't think I know a Jack.
I'm gonna fucking forget my name. I'm gonna get him.
Sorry, Jack.
I'm gonna get him, and I'm gonna be like, you know who killed Mike? Jack.
Hey, Jack, how's it going? I've never said that in my entire life, so I don't think I've ever met a Jack.
You're like, that's a new phrase that came out of my mouth for the first time spoken on this podcast. New phrase dropped by Mike. He's never said this before.
I've never said this. Jack, how's it going?
Wow.
Never said that in my life.
Crazy. The new days for everything, you know?
Yeah.
This is an old movie.
Yeah,
and we're on like our 400-something episode.
If I knew a guy named Jack and he was sitting on me and I said like, hey, jack off, then I've said that before, I know.
Sometimes when I see a Jack in the middle of the road, I'm like, hit the road, Jack. And then I leave because I don't want him to come back anymore.
If I get way too cold, I like to put on a little jacket.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
We're all just thinking about Jack puns. Let's continue with the movie before.
Well, hold on.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I had these
Your
magic
turn.
beans. I got to put them down on the ground. And then I got to have them grow real tall. And then I got to climb the beanstalk. But some motherfucker's already there. And his name is Jack. And he killed the fucking giant. I didn't get to talk to the giant.
Jack and the Giant Slayer. Yeah. It's a tale as old as time.
It is.
Yeah.
Nope, that's all for
That's
Jack.
all we got, yeah.
There you go, Jack. I hope you feel better. Don't kill Mike. Where were we?
I don't remember. We're talking about Jack.
Okay,
you realize the main character's name is Paul.
Okay, so...
But audience is going to have a really hard time with this one. So I know you guys have become accustomed to the name Jack for the main character. His name is actually Paul.
His name is Paul the whole time. Yeah. So when Jack died, Paul was like, oh shit, my daughter Susie. Right. She is at a summer camp that is at a lake that is created by the dam that this river feeds into.
Yes.
Every so often, they take water from the river and they pour it into the lake to refill it at like a reasonable pace. So at that point, a bunch of piranhas are going to get in there. And they multiply like crazy. They're going to get in the lake. They're going to cause havoc. And they're going to keep going. So they're on a time crunch to try to get to this dam and stop it. So they run to the dam. But this guy is watching an old ad on the camp that they're actually trying to save. And luckily, Paul is like, don't open it. Whatever you do, don't open it.
Wait. Paul? Who's Paul?
Don't you I'm on a thin edge here. I'm going to feed you to some fucking piranhas.
I'd love to see
I'm going
you
to say
try.
open that dam up. Well, I know you like their water. I'll just find any pool. I'll put them in there.
That's true. I put on my skivvies, my swim shorts, and I'm like, all right, here we go, baby. But then I turn into Jack because I die immediately.
It's true. Well, Jack just has.
I'm reborn as Paul.
There you go. Yeah, that's the story. Saul to Paul, Jack to Paul, same thing.
Sure, man.
Whatever.
Bible reference.
He says, "Don't open it. Don't open the fucking thing." And the guy's like, "Okay," so he didn't open it because like a weird. Who
is saying this to who?
Paul is saying this to a random guy who operates the dam.
Got it. It says, "Don't open the dam."
I guess if you see a random guy that used to be named Jack and now is known as Paul comes up to you and says, "Don't open the dam,"
a
you'd be
known
like,
drunk.
Oh wait,
they listen to him.
A known drunk.
Yeah.
But I mean, why would known drunks come up to you at the dam? Like, this is such a routine job.
Why would a known drunk say random shit to you? You know,
right,
wandering on the woods.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Now, suddenly the military is being trucked in, and all these new characters. All these new characters. You got the colonel. You got this lady.
Yeah, I never know the lady's name.
I don't know the lady's name. I'm sure I wrote it down somewhere, but it's too far. My laptop's lagging for some reason. So
that's why you call the guy Jack.
We're not scrolling down.
Here, I'll pull up IMDb really quick to see if I can figure out.
No, I'm gonna find it even faster. It's Dr. Menges.
Mengers?
Mengers? Dr. Mengers. Barbara Steele's the actor's name.
Yeah.
And then we got I don't see the other guy's name in here.
I just referred to him as
Colonel Waxman.
I just referred to him as Colonel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know it was very important for our audience to get that information. So I had to delay it.
That's fair. That's fair.
So yeah. And she's like, "This is science fiction," says the lady. but
Dr. Mengers.
Yeah, she says this is not.
She has very striking eyes.
She says this is not science fiction. Excuse me. We should be able to contain them easily. Because they're all the dam now. They're all fucking here. I know. This is a mess. This is a mess of an episode.
You misnamed the main character.
Misnamed someone. I'm saying people are saying the opposite of what they mean. Paul is having a great time, or is it Jack? I don't know.
Who knows? And then by the time my half comes around, you're like, wait, I don't think there was a piranha in my half of the movie.
I never saw a piranha the whole time.
Yeah, how interesting.
Just a lot of red food coloring. So yeah, she's like, they're not smart. They're not going to go back up the river if we poison them. We're all just going to poison them here. They're all here, which is like, why would they all go in one huge pack to one direction? Like, obviously they're going to go other directions.
Yeah.
And they're like, by the way, you're the only 2 civilians who know about this weird Project Razorback or whatever it's fucking called. Razor Teeth? I don't know.
I can't remember what you called it.
At this point, I don't trust myself.
I don't think you do.
So they say, all right, so they start pumping and poisoning the fish. They're going to kill all the fish. They're like, what about all the other fish?
Yeah, the ecological disaster.
And the military says, fuck them.
I mean, that's pretty accurate.
Fuck them. Especially for the 70s.
Yeah, very much so.
So anyway, Paul's like looking at a map and he's like, all right, guys, so like I know this place because I live here. You see this map? So this is the river where they were thrown into the water, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like where they were drained to.
Right.
If you follow it, they go to the dam, right?
Ah, yes, that's right. But there's another.
But if you go this way, they could have went this way.
Right.
Another part, they're like, that's stupid. I'm like, what do you mean it's stupid? Of course, there's a fucking million fish you just jumped in the water. Of course, a couple of them are going to go a random direction.
Yeah. I love how they're just like, that's absurd.
That's absurd.
They'll never do that.
Like, so not
what
not
are the
absurd.
options that they do? There's a million of them.
Yeah. All you got to take is a couple.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, come on, man.
But
anyway, that's
so
my half.
That is my half of the movie. So yeah, he mentions all of this. They're spraying hoses into water. That's the poison.
Yeah, that's the poison. It's a lot of poison.
No one listens to him. We learned that the lady scientist is the ex of Dr. Hoke.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, which is why I was asking how attractive he was, because this lady doctor is very attractive. I don't know how Dr. Hoke looks, but I'm just like, he's got to be like a 10. Like this motherfucker.
Sure, I think they can match.
Probably,
I think they match.
They've got a similar freak on.
They got a similar vibe.
That's right.
Because she's like kind of she's like kind of stern, right?
She is,
and he's also kind of like
she's got very intense eyes.
I feel like they're very serious people.
Yeah, that's true, and
very serious, hot people.
They both starfished in bed.
Yeah,
because they're both so into like.
I bet why she left him was because he kept that weird little fish guy that walks around, that weird claymation fish.
God, it's so upsetting.
I'm gonna show you the fish. I'm gonna load it up while you keep talking.
It's gonna take a while for you to pull this thing up. Apparently,
it will.
Okay. So basically the thing is because they're the only civilians that know about this entire operation, they're going to keep them under guard.
Yeah, they did say I did ask him to join, which is weird.
Yeah,
I thought they would just kill him.
They're like, no, we're just going to keep you in a little like tent, and we're going to make sure that you don't escape. We're going to keep you under guard. We're going to have a bunch of guards around you. And I'm, for one, why not just kill them? Like, one of them is a drunkard in the middle of the woods. The other one is just like a private detective lady. Like, no one's going to miss them. But no, they're like, we're going to like spend the time and the money to like have like guards looking after you 24/7. I'm also just like,
what's the purpose of them?
I'm also just like, until when? Like, when do you think this is going to blow over? Like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe they'll sign like disclosure.
Yeah, sure. They're going to sign NDAs.
They're going to sign some NDAs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Either way, they're going to be under guard. And so they're in a tent together. And Paul obviously wants to escape. Not just because, there's meaning Piranha's not there, but also his daughter's going to summer camp. So he wants to make sure that she's safe.
Of course.
So he's like, I want you to go out there and distract the guards, he says to the lady.
Okay.
And the lady's like, well, okay, but how do you want me to distract him? And then he's like, I don't know, go out there and like flash him or something.
What?
Yeah, come on to him. And she's like, well, but what if he's gay? And he's like, well, then I'll go out and I'll distract him. But go on out first, and then we'll figure it out what to do.
What a weird distraction.
So then she goes out, Ethan. I want you to pay attention to this.
I'm paying attention.
So
I've never been paid more attention in my life.
So she goes out, and she says,
listen, are you gay?
What?
Oh, well, I was just reading this article in this magazine, and...
What did you ask me before?
Look! Up in the sky! It's Superman!
Opens her shirt up and shows off her tits to him. And then
What is this? Feels like a different movie all of a sudden.
This is one of the first things I see, and I'm like, the vibe of this movie is insane.
Whoa.
So we see full on like frontal. Apparently, it wasn't this actor. Apparently, they just got a random person to flash their tits at the camera.
Sure.
But yeah, she flashes him. The guard is taken care of. Paul knocks him out. Yeah, and then they try calling the bald guy who runs the camp. I don't know what his name is, but the guy that runs the camp.
Yeah, the guy who runs the camp.
And the guy who runs the camp calls him a drunk.
Buck Gardner.
Buck. No. Buck. No. Buck is the guy. Is the mayor.
Oh. Okay.
So either way, he calls the guy that runs the camp. The guy that runs the camp is in bed reading a little newspaper and says, "I'm not gonna listen to you. You're a drunk." And as he pulls up the newspaper, I realize, one, the name of the newspaper literally on the top of the newspaper, the masthead, literally just says "the news" on it.
I love that.
And
Keep
then,
it simple.
And then big bold letters, the biggest headline above the fold, it says, "Dogs tear up newborn baby."
Whoa! Holy shit, dude! This town's fucking nuts. How do these dogs tear up newborn babies?
I'm like, is this some weird like foreshadowing to the Piranha? Like, I don't know what.
Tear up newborn baby.
And they have a photo of like the dogs and of the baby, and I'm just like,
what do they look like? How'd they identify those dogs?
That's the problem, is they couldn't figure them out. There was an eyewitness, and the eyewitness was like, I think they had like legs.
I think it was like a small baby.
Yeah. So the cops pull over Paul and the lady, whose name I don't know because I don't know it. Maggie. So the cops pull over Paul and Maggie, and the colonel call the cops up, and the colonel's like, "Hey, you need to keep them prisoner for the night." And this is when it's revealed, and I'm shocked it has not been revealed yet for you. But apparently, a la Jaws, there is a big summer event occurring on the shores of the river.
Is it maybe that thing where they're like, we're gonna beat the minnows or whatever?
It's not just the camp. It's like a full-on event.
Oh, wow.
That the mayor, whose name is Buck, is going to oversee. And apparently, the colonel put money into this event.
The colonel?
The colonel put money into this. So he actually has...
I wonder if there's like some sort of vested interest because maybe he was overseeing the whole operation.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
It's just
so weird.
It's so weird that has not been established in your half of the movie.
No.
Because it happens in my half.
I felt like the beginning of this movie was really slow to like reveal kind of like what the overall thing that was happening really. Like it was just like, here's piranhas. You got your doctor.
Yeah.
And then they just started expanding the scope in your half and being like, here it goes. It's not as simple as it is. And I guess I kind of like that because it felt
like Whiplash for me, I will say.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But I in my mind, it's like, okay, well, at first the piranhas were just in the pool, right? They're contained.
Right.
So in the story itself is very small, only has a few characters.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they slowly get released, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. As the piranhas spread out, they multiply.
Oh, I see.
And more characters get involved.
So the
think
scope of the movie matches the piranha
size.
School. Yeah,
exactly.
Or
swarm or whatever you want to call them.
Sure. We learn that Paul's daughter's at the camp, which you already knew. Some of the counselors want to go swimming, but the guy who runs the camp forbids them to go swimming at night. Even though the blonde camp counselor really wants to go swimming in the nude. I got a vibe from these two lady camp counselors. I think they got
they're into each other.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
Sure.
You know? I mean, they're young too, so maybe it's like a
Well, maybe you can come up and ask her and be like, "Are you gay?"
Well, we'll see. So Paul and Maggie escape from prison. Although I will say that it's really Maggie's ingenuity, because what happens is she like breaks like a pipe. And then calls the cops in, the police officers, to come in and investigate the pipe, because it's like, look, the pipe broke. We're gonna, I'm getting covered in water. Like this is a problem. And then the cop goes in to try to fix it, and then she smashes a toilet seat over the head of the cop, knocking him out, and they're both able to escape.
Okay.
And they steal a cop car, and they need to stop the piranhas before they reach the ocean, because the Dr. Hoke developed the oceans to swim and live in both fresh and salt water.
Okay, so you know when you're trying to cut off the waterways of the North Vietnamese,
Yes.
you know how you have to put them in the ocean to stop the waterways?
Yeah, seems like a bad plan.
Seems like a bad plan to develop that.
If only they had seen the great movie Oppenheimer, in which a Dr. Oppenheimer discovered the ability to blow the Earth up and realized he had opened up a can of worms.
Yep.
You know, that's exactly what this movie's going
maybe
for.
Maybe you should have put that back in the tube. You know, like I don't know, maybe pulled that atomic bomb out and let it drown in the air.
Exactly. Drown
Suffocate?
in the air.
Is that the right word?
Drown in the air.
Well, if you pull a fish out and it like starts being like, I need air or water. What do you say? Is it suffocating or is it
the
drowning?
Next morning, it's a big river event, which is being run by a Texan named Buck. He's played by the late.
Wait, another Buck?
No, this is Buck.
Oh, okay.
Buck, played by the late great Dick Miller. Love this actor.
Okay.
He appears in a lot of Roger Corman movies. I believe he's also in The Burbs, which I believe is also directed by Joe Dante, a great film. There's tons of water activities during this time, including a inner tube race. The piranhas start ripping children's legs apart. One jumps out of the water and eats the guy's face who's running the camp that everyone hates.
It jumps out of the water.
Jumps out of the water
really
and lands on his
guy.
face. This is also where I'm like, in Jaws, I've seen Jaws several times. I'm pretty sure only like 3-4 people die in that movie, maybe even not that much. And it's only like one kid, if I remember correctly. And when that one kid dies, it's like a tragedy. Because obviously, like, you know, the death of children is like horrifying, especially a death that can be like prevented. In this movie,
you're telling me
tons of fucking kids die. Tons of them.
You gotta amp it up somehow, man.
That's true. Except for Susie doesn't die because she has that injury in quote unquote.
Oh, right. So all these fucking kids are dead, basically.
All these kids are fucking dead. Their
Holy
legs
shit.
are gone. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And Susie does not die, but she's so great that she is able to push a little like canoe into the river in order to save the camp counselors and anybody else, hopefully, possibly. So she's able to save some people, which is really great. Although Betsy, who is the brunette camp counselor, is pulled under the water and eaten. And there's very tragic music that happens. I guess we're supposed to care about the fact.
We really care about her. Well, she was cool. She was cool.
She was very nice.
The other mean camp counselor? Fuck that guy.
Well, we'll never know whether her and the blonde girl would ever have wound up together. You know, well, that's the real tragedy. That's true.
They can't now, for sure.
Now there's only one thing eating Betsy out, and it's a it's a piranha.
Man, you were sitting on that one.
I was. So
just like Betsy was.
That's right.
Is that her name? We just made it up.
Betsy. No, it's Betsy. I wrote it down.
You wrote down. I thought you said you didn't know either of their names, the counselors.
I didn't until she died because everyone was like, Betsy, no.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
So there's this great shot of Buck on the phone, and he's so great. He's like, gets a call, and everyone's like, they're like, Buck, there's a bunch of fucking piranhas, and Buck is just like not fucking caring. He's like, shut the fuck up. There's no such thing as piranhas.
The piranhas don't exist. Those are only in fairy tales.
He doesn't give a shit. And as he's on the phone with the piranhas, behind him is this big fucking pig, and it's like he's right next to this fucking pig, and the pig's just like oinking really loud.
I love that.
This is some good shit. I like this a lot. He doesn't care about the piranhas. We see this water skiing group of people. There's this guy water skiing and these two girls in the boat that are piloting the boat that the guy's water skiing on. And this one girl is like in the passenger seat of the boat. And she's just like, wow, isn't he so attractive? And the driver lady's like not impressed. And she's like, I'll bet we can get him to fall in the water. So she starts like fucking like swinging the boat back and forth. And the guy that's the dude in the back, the jet skiing guy is just like, whoa, girls, like chill the fuck out. I'm just trying to water ski. And then all of a sudden he sees a corpse in the middle of the river because the fucking piranhas
are eating shit.
And so he's like, girls, please stop. Like there's danger. And they don't give a shit. So they're still just like,
oh no.
And then he's like,
I love these random people that just appear to die.
Nobody.
That's great.
Nobody.
That's great.
And
movies need to do this more. They need to just have people just have like a little short vignette of just this little peek into someone's life and how they're going to have the worst day ever. And you don't know anything besides kind of what you can glean.
We never really see what happens to them too, because basically they start, so he sees these dead people in the river. And then he's like, girls, please pull me in. And then they start realizing something's wrong. So they slow the boat down. And then as they slow the boat down, he starts sinking into the water where the piranhas are. And he's like, no, pull me in. What are you doing? And then they're like, oh, okay. So they like slam on the gas and they keep going. And they start losing control of the boat.
Right, just because randomly?
I don't know.
Sure.
Because it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And they end up fucking causing a crash. Multiple boats run into each other, and the skiing guy sinks into the water, and I'm assuming he dies. It's this big fucking explosion scene. It's great.
Cool.
And then we hard cut to all the people at the shoreline of the river. One person is reading Moby Dick on the beach. And then some songs start playing because it's like, everyone's like chilling.
Yeah.
And can you guess what song starts playing?
From the 70s? Ba 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 ran. Ba 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 ba.
It's Barbara Ann. No, it's Hey Mickey, You're So Fine.
Again?
I'm just kidding.
No, there's no way.
How great would that have been? Though?
You would have been way more excited to tell me that.
I was excited to write it in my notes as a lie. So the people in the water start screaming.
And it doesn't play anything?
No, it doesn't play anything.
Okay, or it's like a song you don't recognize.
No, it's just some fucking random song. But it sounded a lot like Hey Mickey, You're So Fine. The people in the water start screaming and just get eaten by fucking piranhas. Piranhas eating sound. I don't know if you never hear the piranha eating sound in your half the movie, do you?
You do. It's like.
It's like it kind of sounds like if you put like a piece of paper into a ceiling fan.
Yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like.
It doesn't sound good.
No, it's kind of a weird sound choice, but it's very distinct.
It does, and it does sound like danger.
Yeah. I don't like it. I don't like when people put paper in a fan.
Me neither.
It's upsetting. It's not supposed to be.
It's
there.
annoying.
Yeah.
It's very annoying.
Very annoying.
So Buck over the phone hears that the piranhas are eating Gus, and he's just like, ah, damn. And it's the same energy as like in Tiger King, where it's like, I will never financially recover from this.
Yes.
Like, he's not concerned about the loss of life. He's more just like, oh boy, my reputation. Yeah.
Never gonna live in this town again.
So lots of people, including the Colonel, are all eaten. Just like a bunch of fucking people.
Including the Colonel?
The Colonel is eaten. And then Paul and Maggie arrive in their little boat.
That's why he was so low on the IMDb list I looked at.
That's right, because he does not last very long. They take a boat out into the water. Their plan is to open up a bunch of like septic tanks and then to pollute the water and kill the piranhas.
They make poopy water? They're going to kill the piranhas with poopy water?
That's the plan.
That doctor didn't protect these guys from poopy water?
That's what their plan is. They're going to pollute the water and kill all of the piranhas.
I don't know. I feel like that's an oversight. Like if I got military trained piranhas, you know,
first thing I do is make sure they can live in poop water.
They can live in poop water. Yeah. Like, you can fucking survive in salt water and shit. Like, I feel like that's
they can survive in salt water, but not caca.
Made me laugh and burp at the same time.
That was incredible.
That's crazy.
So that's the plan. But the problem is, in order to open the septic tanks up, the building is underwater, and so Paul has to dive into the water, swim into it, and like try to open up the valve. And while he's opening up the valve, all the piranhas show up and start chewing on him. Start eating him.
Delicious.
And then Maggie, who's on the boat, starts up the engine, pulls him away from the piranhas and the valve just in time for all of the poopy to come out into the water. And the cord is chewed, but he appears to be alive. Susie walks among
he got chewed a little bit?
He got chewed a little bit, but he's alive.
Nibbles? Okay.
Well, you haven't mentioned this. He has a beard.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he comes out of the water, he's completely clean shaven.
He's clean shaven.
Yeah. So Susie walks among the dead and the dying, and she's in horror. She's shocked by all of it.
It sounds so dramatic.
That's what
she's walking among the dead and the dying.
That's what this scene
shocked,
is.
Horrified.
She's just like,
I wish I swam in the water. I
would never have faced this tragedy. Yeah. And then they cut to Buck, and he's just like, man, this sucks.
Why my money?
And then they cut to the lady scientist, and she says, the horror is over. There is nothing left to fear.
So the poop water worked?
Well, but then someone says, what if the piranhas make it to the ocean? Like, sure, maybe the poop water killed a couple of them.
I feel like maybe you might have mentioned this, but maybe you glossed over it.
I probably did.
This river is the part that he was talking about that was not connected to the dam. Is this how they got through?
They got through that yes.
That part. Okay,
yes.
Got it.
And then if they continue down that river, they get to the ocean.
Right.
And so the idea is that the septic tanks are near that like bottleneck, basically.
Got
it.
The
question is like, what if one or two of them make it out?
Yeah, I mean, some of them made through that poison earlier.
Exactly. And she's like, no, there's no way that would be a possibility. God. And then we cut to like the beach. We don't see any piranhas, but everything starts to slowly turn red in the water. and in the camera, it's like a little red filter over everything, and then the name of the movie pops up, and that's the end of the movie.
Damn, that's ready for Piranha 2, baby.
Exactly, Piranha 3D. It's a cute movie.
You know what? Yeah, I was kind of dreading this movie. I was like, oh, it's gonna be like really cheesy. It's gonna be really bad, and like it is.
It is,
but.
It's cute.
There's something to it. There's something. It's the energy.
There's some
the energy keeps moving. It's corny in like kind of the ways you want.
Yeah.
The characters are all like mostly fine. Like you don't really like outright hate anyone except for the people you're supposed to hate.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people fucking die, man. A lot of people get eaten by piranhas. That's kind of what you want.
I do kind of wish that Maggie was a bigger, funner character in my half of the movie.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I feel like the scope gets bigger then, so she becomes less of a focus.
Less of a person. That's
but
true.
She does seem to help a lot.
She does. Like most of the time, she's the one that's solving all of the problems.
She gets him out of the poopy water zone.
There is also no moment where I feel like the two of them are like embracing and kissing for no reason. You know, it does.
That is true.
Yeah, and it never feels like they're supposed to be romantically linked. It feels more like they are just two people that need help.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna do a live react.
Oh, here we go. I'm gonna live react.
Live react to this little creature.
This stop motion animated character.
This little creature. Okay.
All right.
So they're walking into the lab right now. The lab. You see the whole lab.
Yeah,
You're
it's
like,
a
wow,
lab.
it's a pretty cool lab, right?
Yeah. It looks like there's some orange soda on the table.
Why my thing is going.
Whoa.
Hold on, I think my for some reason.
Whoa, that looks cool. It's like Harryhausen type stop motion.
Yeah, it's like really cool and weird, and that thing just keeps going out throughout this whole scene.
Wait, we never see it more than that?
No, we see it a lot more than that.
Okay.
But for some reason,
something's up with your player.
My player, it's being weird.
Bro, what the fuck is going on here?
See, there it is in the background.
Whoa.
Shot for a second.
No, I didn't even see that.
It's just there. Well, there's this weird moray eel.
That is cool.
Creepy effect. I don't know.
This is cool shit.
It's a really cool thing.
That Joe Dante, man, he knows what he's doing.
He's making some cool effects.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing. So yeah, I would recommend this movie. Honestly, overall, it's a pretty harmless little film.
It's actually kind of fun. Yeah. I mean, if you're okay with just a little bit of mild sexism.
Yeah, it's not that bad
random
compared to some of the other movies back in the day.
For sure.
Yeah.
Some boobs. Maybe if you don't want to see some boobs.
There's nothing sexist about seeing boobs.
Yeah, you're right, bro. You're right, dude. Yeah.
That's not sexist. That's sexy.
Hey, got him. But yeah, I don't know. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. It flew by. It's pretty short.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a good summer movie. I
think it absolutely does not outstay its welcome, which is nice.
No, I don't think so. I was actually kind of surprised it kept going, and but they did amp it up. You know, they did be like, all right, they made it to the beach. It's gonna kill a bunch of fucking kids.
That's true.
That's wild. I kind of want to finish watching this movie. That's how much I kind of enjoyed it.
Honestly, yeah, watching the movie, I'm like, oh, this could be a fun movie to watch with folk. Like,
yeah, it's a fun like friend movie where you're just like, let's just hang out and talk over this movie because like the plot's so simple.
We all
you don't even
have
to. You don't even have to remember the characters' names. It turns out you could just watch them.
Call them Jack or Paul.
Jack or Paul doesn't matter. It works great either way.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd recommend it. Check it out, guys. I don't know where it's streaming, but you can check it out.
I'm sure it's on fucking. It's got to be on the Tubi rotation at some point.
It's on Tubi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Roku channel or whatever.
Freebie.
Whatever your drug of choice is for your free.
Check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's one of the earliest Joe Dante movies. So if you like Gremlins, I'm sure you'll like this movie as well. Have you guys ever seen a piranha? Email us at email@theotherhalfpodcast.com. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We're also on Threads and on Discord. And if you want to listen to our previous episodes, you can find them on any podcatching app. And while you're there, please leave a 5-star rating and review. We will read on the show, no matter what it says, even if you're telling us that there's no way that these genetically modified piranhas would ever be able to survive out in the ocean. That would be absurd.
That's absurd. That's so crazy that
That's
these
ridiculous.
things have been bred by the military for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know what's really scary is that part in Jungle Cruise with the piranhas.
I think that's probably where. Well, you know what's weird too is I remember back in the day, but I did not live anywhere near Disneyland when I was growing up, and I used to watch old videos of people riding that ride. Those were not always there. That was like a relatively new addition to the ride.
Really?
Yeah, relatively new. Like within our life time, basically.
Interesting. Because I remember distinctly going as a kid and being like so scared.
Oh, really?
So scared, dude. What if I fell in?
Exactly.
What if I fell in and that those little piranhas on like what were attached to like what was I think just a spinning
It's not
wheel.
even that effective.
It's not even that good of an effect.
You can
but I was too scared. I
see.
didn't even look. They
That's
were just
true.
like, there's man-eating piranhas.
Whoa!
Although they should have made that joke. I'm a child. I should have been fine.
There you go. Well, good night, everybody.